Hello, everyone. It is February 22nd. We're starting week 4. How does everybody feel? Hi, Leah. Hi, Tanya. Welcome, welcome. I'm very excited about this week. I honestly can't believe we're already 3/4 of the way through this. I don't know how that happened. But, yeah, I'm really excited. Uh, there are so many good prompts left. I can't wait to see what everybody writes. Gosh, yes, Leia, this is my back cardigan. Oh, I can take that off. Um, yes, I love this. It's so cute and soft. Hello, Christina. Welcome. How's everybody feeling about the challenge? We're starting a new week. I have forgotten what all of the prompts are, but I know there's some good ones. Okay, no, reminding myself. I'm very happy. The prompts for today are muddy shoes and snakeskin. I know some of you have already written yours. I have not read them. I really have to keep myself in the habit of not reading people's prompts until after I've written mine because the couple days that I've read it beforehand have confused me. Like, no, it's already done. Put this away before the battery dies. Okay. Leia says, I love this challenge because it really helped me be consistent with writing, even if it's not in my project. Yes, I agree. Like, hard agree for sure. Um, I got basically no writing done in January for a few different reasons. And so this has been like such a nice way to get back into writing, to be like more consistent. Uh, it's been really helpful. I'm glad it's been helpful for you too. Christina says I'm incredibly behind, but I've had an awful like 2 weeks. Just now getting around to posting the ones I did already in the Discord. Oh, that's fine. That's don't worry about being behind. That's perfectly fine, and you don't even need to catch up if you don't want to, if you don't have the time. I'm sorry that it's been a hard couple weeks. That's awful. But this also means that I get to go back and reread yours as you post them in the Discord. I'm having kind of a slow morning today, so I apologize if I'm a little quieter than normal. I get to go meet up with my friends after this, though. We're going to talk about our buddy read, so I'm really excited about that. Christina says, even though they're not really characters in the actual whip, but it's helping with their motivation, so therefore plot stuff right now. That's awesome. Yeah, I have more recently, the last few that I've been doing have been ones where I'm writing with the main characters in my story and in my main project. But it has more than anything, like, these aren't really even scenes that exist in the story most of the time, but it is helping me, like, get in their heads and, like, figure out, fall in love again with these characters a little bit so that I'm more motivated to work on the book, which I definitely need help with. Tanya asked, what did you all read? We read They Bloom at Night by a name I would probably butcher, so I will refrain. It's kind of a, like, uh, it's technically post-apocalyptic, but it doesn't have the typical vibes of post-apocalyptic. But basically, there was, it's set down on the Gulf of Mexico area, and I'm blanking on what state it's supposed to be in. Anyway, um, so it is an immigrant. Oh my god, my brain doesn't work. Is she Chinese? Wow. Um, I know I could just look this up really quickly. Okay, Vietnamese. That's what it is. I knew Chinese didn't sound right. Okay, Louisiana. So basically, there's this town in Louisiana that there was a hurricane and the whole city got submerged, and now there is, like, this really creepy algae, and people are, like, getting turned into soup a little bit. Um, it's a YA horror, like, LGBT. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It was just kind of a fun time. Lots of emphasis on, like, yeah, the cover is gorgeous. Um, yeah, no, it's absolutely stunning. So yeah, it's about, like, climate change, but it's more about, like, it's a very feminist horror. It's about her experiences growing up as an immigrant woman, and yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I know at least one of my friends, like, absolutely loved it. Christina says, "Ooh, horror! I'm trying to read more horror. Just finished a horror novel called The Spite House. Didn't think it was super scary, but horror has lots of subgenres too." Yeah, I generally don't read stuff, like, I love horror, but I don't read a lot of, like, scary horror. Um, I prefer things that are, like, eerie and weird and, like, creepy, but not scary. And definitely not gory. That's not my vibe at all. Um, But yeah, so this had a lot of like body horror because the algae is doing weird stuff to people. It also had um my brain died. There is like mentioned sexual assault, so be aware of that going in. But I do recommend it. It's great. But no, this author also has She Is a Haunting, and I really really want to read that. Me too, Christina. It is very like the vibes in it are really good. Um, I will say like the whole premise of it, because the main character Noon and her mother are like trawlers. They have a boat and they go and like dredge things up and like are searching for monsters and whatever. That whole premise is just like, oh, I really, really want to replay the game Dredge now because that is like eldritch horror video game where you are a fisherman who goes and you dredge up stuff from the deep in the ocean, and it is so much fun and like so creepy, but like in a good way. I love eldritch horror so much. That was really good. This was a completely different vibe. So it was like a very similar premise, but in a completely different direction. Tanya says, I can't get over the cover. Yeah, no, it is absolutely gorgeous. If you have not seen the cover, you should look at it. It's so beautiful. Anything where like the person is underwater like that. I love when water is creepy. Horror themed around water stuff is so much fun. Tanya says, I never play games, but for some reason that sounds interesting to me. I play a lot of games for someone who doesn't really like identify as a gamer, but that is definitely one of my top games ever. I highly recommend it. It's so good. Huh. Oh, Eldritch Horror is like it's my brain doesn't work. It's cosmic horror is another term, but it's like around the Cthulhu mythos and Lovecraft. Lovecraftian horror is another term for it, but I don't like that because he sucked. He's dead, so I guess it doesn't matter too much anymore. But yeah, Eldritch horror is my preferred term for that genre, but it has a few different ones. But it's basically just like fear of the unknown and like big creepy monsters that you can't see because like or when they're revealed, uh, it's fear of the unknown because if you figure out what it actually is, it takes away the scary factor. That's a big part of what makes Eldritch horror so scary is that you don't understand it and you can't understand it. It does predate Lovecraft. One of when my friend and I start our podcast, which we are working on, um, one of the episodes we're going to do is on the yellow wallpaper. Um, no, not that. That we are going to talk about that. Ah, my brain doesn't work. I have to go over to the right place to find what I'm looking for. Oh, the King in Yellow. That's I knew it was something to do with yellow. But the King in Yellow is actually like one of the stories that inspired Lovecraft, so it is one of those that predates it. But it's also something that like a lot of um a lot of gatekeeping people who like horror like to name drop to be like, see, I know this whatever thing. So yeah, we really want to approach it more from a perspective of like actually analyzing it and not just like see how cool I am. Uh, but yeah, Christina says I would say think like alien space cosmic being that people just don't get, but it's doing weird stuff. Yeah, that's definitely a big part of it. I would say it definitely does not have to be alien. Is it like one of Lovecraft's stories? Um, mm, um, okay. The yellow wallpaper is also an eldritch horror. But is the premise of that is basically someone staring at yellow wallpaper and going insane. Like so that is also eldritch horror. It's just like a mixture of this fear of the unknown and also like the most mundane everyday things making you go crazy. Either way, you are going insane. Like that is a huge part of it. Right. Yeah. Christina says it's the not understanding what you're looking at anyway that generates the scare in eldritch things. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it's a very like specific type of horror, which is not the vibe that this book we read had. But Dredge the game, absolutely, that is what it is. Like that is, um, yeah. Oh, Christina says I didn't think yellow wallpaper was considered eldritch. It is as far as I'm aware, because it's about like that's one of the ones I really need to read. Um, that's one of the ones that we are going to read when we do our Eldritch Horror podcast. So very excited about that. Okay. Are you guys ready to do some sprints? I need to figure out what the heck I'm writing today. Okay, the prompts for day 22 are muddy shoes and snake skin. I did not realize until today that I had included both muddy shoes and used galoshes. I don't think both of those were meant to wind up in my final version, but I mean, they're not exactly the same thing. It's fine. Christina says, gonna work on posting this backlog and hopefully work on more of those drabbles. Yes. All right. I'm going to get this started. See you guys in 30 minutes. Good luck. Welcome back, everybody. How did it go? Let's see. Leia said she finished her drabble of the day and is now working on some other prompts. That's awesome. Asa popped in. Hi, Asa. Welcome. He says this drabble project is impressive. It's going pretty well. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I cannot use the word impressive. That's too difficult for me. But I actually wrote two versions of this because I wrote the first one and I didn't like it. So then I wrote a second one and I like it a lot more. I think at most it was about like 133 words, but I got it down to 100. I'm happy with this. How did everybody's sprint go? Let's see. Christina has been back posting stuff. I'm excited to reread them. Okay, Leia says I did 100 words and another 87 words in another prompt. That's awesome. Tanya says I collected some prompts instead of studying. No, you need to study. Oh my gosh. How far out is your test? I know you've said this somewhere. I don't recall. Or is it like actually is it a regular studying and not for a very specific test? I'm second guessing everything. It's fine. Oh my gosh, I have so much to catch up in the Discord. Okay, you're gonna study now? That's good. Okay, Tony says I have an easy one on Thursday and the hard one on Thursday. Yes, exams. Okay. Both of those days say Thursday. I assume there's either a typo there or it is or something. I don't know. Tuesday. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. Like, there had to be a typo there. Okay. Well, yeah, you need to focus on studying. There's only a few days left. Yeah, Christina says, I do not miss school. Good luck. Yeah, I don't miss it either. Oh, the literary clips popped in. I'm probably not going to write during the stream because I'm trying to set up my Twitch. That's so cool. Definitely share that when you have it all set up. That's exciting. Okay, what do you guys think? Should I read this drabble? Okay. No one has responded yet, but that's because this is behind by like 30 seconds or something. So I'm just going to start reading and assume that you said yes, because that's the correct answer. Okay. There are two times, before and after. Before, you clamber through thick mud and sharp crags with Madison, wearing combat boots and a snakeskin miniskirt at the lead. Afterward, you crawl, alone. Before, your flashlight illuminates cavern walls, seeking long-lost treasure, the beam reflecting off stalactites and stalagmites, off gnarled rocks blocking your path. Afterward, your flashlight is busted, batteries lost in darkness. Before, your group marches with purpose and without fear, knowing the echoes of your footfalls will scare away danger. Afterward, you understand what real danger is. Before the cave-in, Madison holds your hand. Afterward, Madison leaves you. Ta-da! So, oh my gosh. See, I was right. Oh, Leia says that she wrote her drabble in the second person. That's exciting. I love second person so much. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You guys are so sweet. Chills and tears. Ah. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing the juxtaposition. The first version I had of this did not have anything like that. And I don't know, it was fine. It wasn't bad, but I'm very glad I rewrote it. Um okay, and the literary eclipse said, "What is a drabble? I might be the only person who doesn't know." A drabble is it's a term that came about in like the 80s in I believe it was Star Trek fan fiction is where it started, but a drabble is a type of flash fiction, microfiction where it is exactly 100 words. The term can be used for different things though, like it's not that is the strictest definition of a drabble is like a complete work in exactly 100 words. But we're a lot more flexible than that, and a lot of people, like especially in fandom spaces, use the term more liberally and not, just 100 words. If it winds up being more or less, which is, I don't think that's really happened, then that's no big deal. It's just, yeah, primarily we're working on like flash fiction, but I am trying to get these to specifically 100 words. I think I'm achieving that about half the time. This one I did manage to get to 100 words though, so and somehow it's like 9 paragraphs long. That's because every sentence is its own paragraph though. But yeah, so there's trying to get to exactly 100 words is like a particular kind of challenge, and that's why I decided to do this challenge, because it's something that doesn't take very long but is still difficult. So yeah, like I wrote 2 versions of this and edited the one that I liked in less than 30 minutes. It was like 25 minutes. And that's very achievable, but was still actually challenging. Most people who are participating are not actually writing exactly 100 words, though. I think maybe half of people are actually trying to do that. So we are very flexible. See, Christina says, I was writing the next drabbles on my list. This is starting to feel like I'm writing short stories, which is amazing considering how much I blab in my whips. Oh, that's so real. So real. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I am an overwriter, or well, I underwrite and then I overwrite. To be clear, my rough draft is very sparse, especially on descriptions and that sort of stuff. But then my next draft is usually like very overwritten because I'm adding in all the stuff that was missing. Um, and yeah, it's a problem. But then the next step is to edit it down and get it more succinct. So it's fine. Tanya says, I'm a blabber, even in the drabbles. Yeah, it is a particular kind of challenge to not just keep writing forever. Um, there have definitely been a few where I have gotten it to like over 300 words and I'm like, this is too much. I have to stop or it'll get out of hand. Yeah, Christina says descriptions will always be underwritten for me too. Yeah, I just like I'm not really thinking about that when I'm doing my rough draft. It is very much focus on the action and the people, what they're feeling, and all of that type of stuff. So, like descriptions, unless it's important to what's going on, that basically barely exists in my rough draft. And I try not to make them too dense even in later drafts because I mean, I do imagine most people skim over those parts. I sometimes do. I try very hard not to, but when you're reading so much of the time, like what you think is going on is it's informed half by the book, but also half by your own brain filling in spots that either you glossed over or weren't provided. See, Tanya says, to be fair, I'm kind of using these sometimes to practice adding in the right descriptions, which is something I don't usually work on in my whips. And that adds word count, but I think it's a good thing to do. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to practice. Yeah. That's I really like the drabbles because you can approach it in so many different ways just to like if you're struggling with descriptions, focus on that while you're doing these. If you're struggling with dialogue, you can focus on that. You could do a dialogue only drabble. You can approach it in whatever way works best for you, but also just like what you need to work on, you can work on in these. I love that. And I love that you're doing that, Tanya. That's so cool. I'm gonna run out of coffee soon. To be fair, I should be drinking water more. I'm very bad at drinking water. Unfortunately, most water tastes terrible. Yes, Christina, it is a really great writing exercise. I'm so glad that I did this challenge, that I decided to take the leap and actually put it into motion, not just think about doing it and then never do it, because that's most things. Um, I'm so happy with how this is going, just in the interactions with everyone and getting to read everyone's stories, but also like how it's working for me. It is definitely giving me a lot of motivation. That is something I struggle with very much. And it's just been such a fun experience. I am definitely ready to not be filming every single day though. So like one more week and then I can have a break. No, March 1st, I'm just going to be like, no, I'm not doing anything today. I'm going to wear pajamas all day and not do anything. I'm going to look like crap and enjoy it. Oh, Tanya says, no, that was a new thing popped up right as I was clicking. Tanya says, I don't like my most pure water either, but drinking herbal tea is a good workaround. You're right. That requires me to make tea, though. Bad at that. Doing things. Um, no, I don't like the water we have at our house. So the water in here, and it's mostly not the water; it's the ice. And when the ice melts, it tastes bad. And and I need my water to be as cold as physically possible so that I don't taste it. Because the colder things are, the less you taste them. That's science. And if I don't like water, then the colder it is, the less I have to taste it. Um, but I don't like our ice. So this is specifically ice from a nearby gas station, which since like we don't have to pay for it because it's a water refill. But I really wish I liked the ice that we had here because that would be so much easier. This is the woes of being neurodivergent. Okay, Christina says, I was so nervous about the prompts, but since it's not so strict, I feel my rejection sensitivity is put at ease so far. Oh, that is so fair. So fair. Oh, yeah, I struggle a lot with rejection sensitivity, so I get that absolutely. Yeah, we will never judge you or anything for not adhering perfectly to the prompt, for not writing exactly 100 words. Like we will never judge you for that. um, I don't think there have been any instances in the server of people like being too strict with how the stuff goes, like how it's supposed to be done. No, that would be the opposite of the point of the challenge. Oh my gosh. No, there are already so many to catch up on. Like, Okay, so yes, Tanya's right. Be free. That that really is my favorite part of the challenge. Like, the flexibility is a very important factor to me because I know I cannot get it to 100 words most of the time. Hello, Meme Zone. A drabble is a short work of fiction in exactly 100 words. That's basically what it is. That's what we're writing here. We have some prompts that I'll put back up on the screen for you, and we're just trying to write a 100-word story using those prompts. I was thinking we should do another sprint. Oh my gosh, it's already 12:14. Time passes so quickly while you're doing this. Let's get this set up so that we can do another sprint. I am so close to being done with my vlog from week 2. So now that I have my drabble done, I should finish that. Okay. Yeah, let's do another 30-minute sprint. And good luck, everybody. See you then. Welcome back, everybody. How did that go? I have been slowly adding in music for my next vlog. I think I'm about halfway done with adding in the music, and then I know there are a couple parts I need to blur, and then it might actually be ready to post. So that's going pretty well. How did the sprint go for everybody? Christina says, got close to finishing day 5's prompt. That's exciting. I know, like, it's frustrating that you didn't finish, but close is fine too. Tanya says, I'm really struggling with this material right now. It doesn't want to go into my head. I can't wait to get past this part. Oh, that's so frustrating. I'm sorry. Um, Would taking a break help? I don't know. It depends on what the particular struggle is. Christina says, went from around 270 words to about 117. So the sprint was a success. Yeah, definitely. That is a huge improvement. Oh, you're so close to getting that done. Oh my gosh. Christina, are you being like really vigilant about the 100 word number? I don't know how strict I am about that varies on a day-to-day basis. Tanya says it's a bunch of terms that I have to differentiate, and they're really samey in my head. That's fair. That, yeah, like memorizing terminology is probably one of the most difficult things. If it's like memorization is a completely different type of studying than like logic based stuff. Like with math, most of it's not memorization. It's you have the logic that you follow. With history, some of it's memorization, but some of it is just like cause and effect, so you can study things in a different way. Like there there are different approaches. Memorization is particularly difficult for me personally. So yeah, being able to differentiate between those words, that's a tough one. And yeah, Tony's right. 117 is super short. I am so impressed, Christina. Cutting 270 words down to 117 is already so impressive. Um, there've been a couple where like I know at this point if I get over 200, I probably won't be able to cut it down to 100 words. Okay, Christina says, I'm not being strict about it necessarily, but I'm really trying to put in an effort to make it very much a flash piece. That does make sense. Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, with these, like, sometimes the idea that you come up with gets out of hand, and you can either roll with it and have a new story, or you can get it, force it to behave. But that's definitely a choice that you have to make in the moment, and it really does depend on the story. Yeah. Christina says, if it goes over 200 words, I automatically want to rethink it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the 200 word point is like the threshold of this is getting out of hand for me. I think I've only had one of mine that's gone over 300. And that was very much like, I've given up on trying to rein this in. Yes, Christina says my day two prompt was almost 300, but I just couldn't help it. The vibes were there. Exactly. Yeah, you get it. And sometimes the story is just so good, and you just got to keep writing it. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to end this here today. I am meeting up with my friends in about an hour, and I need to do a couple things before that. So I'm going to leave you guys here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, especially since I changed the time at the last minute. And I was very sad that Carrie was not able to join me today. She had to cancel. And, but hopefully we'll be able to do another Drabble stream in the future. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Christina said, and then I'm interested to see what people think when reading the actual novel and how the Drabbles work within it. Yeah, that's a good point. I think if you're like, once the Drabbles go into the novel, if they become part of a scene, they're no longer Drabbles at that point. So if they need to be expanded or whatever to fit in with the rest of it, then you just have to do that. At that point, like it is part of a bigger story. And Tanya says, honestly, unless a thing was like 150, I didn't bother with trying to get it down to 100. Totally fair. But I will definitely also do that kind of drabble in the future where I challenge myself to delete words. I mean, honestly, it is such a fascinating process to like go through and be like, okay, I still need to get rid of 10 words. Which 10? How can I reword this? How can I make this more succinct? If I delete these, will this part become unnecessary? Will it not work anymore? And there are so many times where it's like, okay, I could reword that dependent clause to make it fit the words, but then it no longer has the weight that it did before, so I might as well not even have it. So either am I getting rid of this, or am I figuring out what else I can get rid of to keep it because it works better like this? It's hard. Okay. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me, guys. Thank you, Leia and Tanya and Christina. You guys are wonderful. And I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.